Welcome to the United Hour, where we're going to be presiding over what seems to be the total death and demise of Manchester United. That performance today was the worst performance I think I've ever seen by a Manchester United team. And here at the breakdown, we discuss. And joining me on this funeral, because it feels like a funeral when you watch your team perform so badly. So joining me for this funeral of the breakdown today is the man Greg B and the man Big Phil.
I think we all got the memo today to wear black.
Apparently so. We didn't do it intentionally. But everybody is wearing black. Good afternoon to Shabaka and Martin Phillip. So, gentlemen, before we even start talking about the game, before we even
Do we
start
have
dealing
to?
with player ratings, I just want to ask us a very serious question. Have you ever seen Manchester United play worse than what you saw today? Ever? Even preseason? Ever? Ever? Even for a testimonial? Ever? Have you ever seen Manchester United, a Manchester United team, play worse than what you saw today? Greg B?
I've seen us collect 4-0 from Chelsea, 5-0 from Liverpool, 6-1 from Manchester City. I've seen some humiliating defeats in my time, but today, I think this was the icing on the cake. 4-0 from Brighton.
This team, the last time this team won a home game was in December. December.
And you look at it. This is roughly like a second 4-0 from a lower division, from a lower table side, from a mid-table team. If you even want to consider Brighton a mid-table team, we got 4 from Watford, and they're getting relegated.
Phil,
When it rains, it pours.
when all is said and done at the end of the season, is going to be Manchester United's worst tally in a Premier League, even if we beat Palace for the last game of the season. Have you ever seen a worse performance by a United team?
I'm going to say either Leicester or Watford. Not because of the
This season you're talking about Leicester or what for this season?
yeah. Not just because of the result, but the teams they're playing against, right? I don't mind holding the 4 and the 5 from Liverpool and Man City. They're competing on all 4 fronts, right? But when you get turnover by a team that's relegated, when you get turnover by the Seagulls, then you got to start holding your head in shame, right? Because at the end of the day, these are teams that we should be beating comfortably. It doesn't matter the form we're in, we should be beating these teams comfortably. But not this season. I think, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too quick, but there's a report on Sky Sports that said that this is actually Manchester United's worst season post Sir Alex.
Yeah, because this is our lowest points tally as
So
well.
Is our lowest points tally is one aspect of it, and the other aspect of it is the fact that
goals
when you look at the
conceded
amount
above.
of goals, look at the teams that have beat us this season, as Phil
We
was
broke
just
our
talking
record
about.
in 18 and 19. We've broken our record for 18 and 19 for the most goals conceded.
Yeah, but still, Watford, Leicester, we take 4 from Brighton. We could live. I could live with taking 5 from Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because there's a Liverpool team that in a Champions League final and pushing City all the way to the end of the season. I could live with taking a big haul from City, which we didn't. But still, I could live with getting beaten from those teams. Watford and Brighton, boy. Come now, man.
Sickening just thinking about it.
How did they say don't do that? do don't do me that. Don't do me that. Martin Phillip is saying like the teams from Manchester just try to outdo each other. Who could do worse? I wouldn't like to, I was watching the game and that crossed my mind and say, boy, City find a way to lose to Real Madrid. And like we decide, yes, City, hold my beer. You understand? let me show you how let me really show you how bad it to do it. You understand? It's like what? This is and guys, the most frustrating thing. Let's start up talking about the lineups. This is the same lineup that won 3-0 last week. The exact same lineup. Every player started that won, that put down that comfortable home performance. And you know what this tells me? Obviously, there is something psychologically off with this team. This team has stopped playing. And I've seen a lot of people on social media wanting to throw Ralph under the bus. But you cannot explain to me how you put out the same team and get such a drastic different performance. So what, Ralph told them go out and play shit? How are you explaining that? You know what I mean?
You must not, Matson.
It's tough. Before we continue talking about Manchester United stuff, it would be remiss of us not to talk about the fact that Liverpool just dropped some points against Spurs, and barring some kind of collapse and the season collapse from City is most likely going to win the league. So all the talk of quadruple should be out the window after today. Right? Nobody ain't supposed to be talking about no quadruple after today. So yeah, if there's any good news at all in the day, that would be it. The first 15 minutes before we conceded the first goal, we came out looking flat. We came out low energy. Brighton didn't play just like a number of other teams, like when we lost to Everton didn't play well. They just played okay, and we were just so bad. And similarly today, we were so bad that an average Brighton team, I mean, sometimes we play teams and we know that, and they play Manchester United and they lift their game. They elevate their game and they really run. Brighton only elevated their game after the third goal. They were like, hey, these fellas out here for the taking. And all of a sudden, they got a pep in the step. But before that, what Brighton was doing, Siraj, I can't disagree with you there. Most definitely very, 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 very poor. So the first goal, United is, I don't know, boy. The first goal was scored by
Moses Caicedo.
Caicedo. And that's the first time the man scored for Brighton. The first time.
We just love helping these players open their accounts, don't we?
The second goal was scored by Cucurella. That's the first time he scored for the club. The man cried. I don't know when last I see a footballer cry on the field from scoring a goal. Especially a goal that's not a final or anything.
He's a left back, mind you.
Say that again?
He's a left back.
Yeah, dog, but the man cried. Big, long tears. I don't care. He could be a goalkeeper. I see Edison come up and score for Liverpool a critical goal last season, and he didn't cry.
Right? Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah.
Welcome, Darren, to the stream.
Yes, guys. I apologize for the tardiness.
Man say sell the whole squad, yes?
Sell the whole squad. I agree with that. So, guys, I mean, I want to throw a statement out there, and you all just talk about it, and then we'll move on. It seems to me that every time Harry Maguire is on the bench, somebody has to do a Harry Maguire impression. Did you all get that sentiment today? Today, that person was Varane. Tell me something.
I don't think it's just a Harry Maguire thing anymore. I think it's just the whole defense in itself. Something is fundamentally wrong.
I know I start off the show playing funeral music, but well, they're killing my boy. They ain't talkative at all.
But well, I mean, what do you want us to say? Because I mean, it was you saw that game, Chad. Everything was just abject. Lindelof won a couple of headers, but there are times he got caught out. Varane, I don't know. Tell us the less said about his performance, the better. The only player that can barely hold their head up high in that back line, and I say barely, is Diogo Dalot.
I'm gonna tell you something. I only see one positive from that performance. One. And you know what that is?
You know we can
Welbeck
sell the whole
didn't
squad
score on
now.
us.
Say again? Welbeck didn't score
on us.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the only
Wow.
positive. It didn't even have anything to do with Manchester United.
Wow.
The fact that Welbeck tried his utmost and couldn't score on us.
The almighty Danny Welbeck didn't score against Manchester United.
The only positive that I took from today, President Chad, is that we only have one game left of the season. Only one
That's
game.
the true positive. That's
Only
the
one game
positive
more.
there.
It almost finished.
Yeah, it's almost over. The pain is almost done.
Carlton is saying Rav Sola Sakia for a Lamborghini. Oh.
This is coming from the same guy who says this is coming from the same guy who says Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the better right back front than Diogo Dalot.
That's
Take that for what you will.
Yeah. I don't know how to respond to that, Carlton. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'll just read out your comment, but I don't know how to respond. So Ralph brought on Fred and Cavani at halftime. He took off Matic and Elanga, tried to bring some energy from Fred and trying to, he switched to a 4-4-2. And the midfield was even more absent in the second half, not helping the defenders. So many times it was 3v3 or 4 versus 3, in favor of Brighton in the second half. Hence the reason that they overtook us. Then Ralph had to switch it up and bring on Harry Maguire to play a back 3. Manchester United playing a back 3 against Brighton. I mean, Darren, I want to ask you the question that you missed out on that I asked the other two panelists. Have you ever seen a worse performance by Manchester United ever in your life?
It's about a close second, but this is the worst. It's about close second. That would have been Jose last game when we lost to Liverpool 3-1.
Nah, I still think that was better than that.
The players down tools for that game as well. That's true.
Correct. They did.
That's true.
That is something I will never forget, because in that moment watching the game, I felt dejected, hopeless as a United fan. Like, wow. Seriously? Or they're not even playing for the pride, boy? Or they're not even playing for the badge, boy? To at least say, we tried, boy? These guys losing the first ball. They're losing the second ball. They're getting bodied off the ball easily. They're not running. The ball watching. It's almost as though they just say to themselves, well, we have a contractual obligation. We had to come out. We can't just give them 3 goals and forfeit the game, so we had to go out. Let's just get over it. That's what it looked like. These guys look not, and it looked purposeful. It literally looked like these guys literally just waiting for the season to done. Who after leave will leave, and we will start to work fresh. They just fed up. You can't do that. This is Manchester United. This is not a mid-table team. There's not some championship side. There's a team of high caliber. Even when we play decent, we will not get a decent critique. We look bad because of the standard we have set for ourselves over the years. These players need to understand is about something a lot bigger than themselves. It is a lot bigger than you. United was, is, and will always be one of the best clubs in the world, one of the biggest clubs, one of the sorted after clubs, and representing United is an honor. So even if it is, you tell yourself, well, we are no silverware to play for. Play for the badge. Let's play for United. Play for your dignity. Play to be known that you were a United player that actually represented the badge well, as opposed to going down in history as being part of the team that was one of the worst United teams to ever be assembled. That's not part of the history you want to be a part of. And I felt really, and for a split second I had to agree with all the banter I was getting. I had to agree with it because they're not showing me anything to prove all the time. I defending this squad to front. They did nothing to prove that what everybody else was telling me. Varane looked woeful. All the players who would normally at least represent themselves was terrible. Tellez is the worst. I rather
we go through. We actually gonna go through the players now.
Do we have to?
Yeah, because I wanna good afternoon to Veronica and Valentino. I wanna deal with the players so that we could move on any program on something else. You know, it don't really make sense talking about the game. The game was horrible.
Yeah.
So normally I would ask, give me your 3 top players and your 3 worst players. I'm just gonna ask, give me your three worst players. Because nobody was a top player. You know, David De Gea put on some good saves, but when he received 4 goals, you can't get him man of the match. You understand what I'm saying? It don't matter how much you save. When they concede 4 goals, you just can't get him man of the match. So
who gets a man of the match performance in a
exactly.
performance like this?
So you forget about talking about David De Gea was the best. No. We ain't talking about David. No player was good. So, you know, we're just looking at who you consider the absolute worst, and then we'll move on to the last thing in the day. You know, the faster we could ease our suffering, the better. So Darren, continue on what you were saying, and let me get your top 3 standout worst performers for you.
We're starting with Tellez. Tellez was terrible, and he has been terrible for quite some time. The only reason why we don't talk about Tellez being terrible is because Maguire always tops him. But he has been terrible. Maguire takes the attention away from him. You understand? Tellez is atrocious. I don't know who I don't the people who was responsible.
A man say Lingard get man of the match award, yes?
For what?
A man on the bench you in sweat.
Listen, Tellez. I don't know who is responsible.
Carlton, the medicine is your friend, okay? Carlton, the medicine is your friend.
Yeah, I don't know who is responsible for bringing players at United, but I'm really glad that we are turning on the corner and we get rid of all those old persons, because for the life of me, there are few times I can ever see where Tellez look good when he's on the pitch. The best thing Tellez did was just being present to make Shaw play a little better.
He did score the goal against Villarreal in the group stage, so.
I mean, come on. The 1 goal.
He's a left back, eh? He's a left back,
it's not like if he created space and his position all well, it was so great. He strike and he get through it. It happens. Yeah. Our next man who was real terrible is McTominay. Apparently, McTominay does not know how to tackle and win the ball without fouling somebody. Every single time he goes for a tackle, he foul any man. You're getting a ball, the ball in open space, you want to run onto it. It's right in the plane. Why these fellas bodying you off the ball? For the life of me. Come on, we first touch, terrible. When they make a mistake and we got opportunity to win it back, they just boom kicking the ball up the road aimlessly. Control the ball, compose yourself, string up some passes. Why every time you had a pass the ball, it's back? You see a man collect the ball, a man making an overlapping run. Why your default reaction as soon as you collect the ball is to pass the ball back? You just kill the overlapping runner, man. We'll get out to the man. Come on, man. Week in, week out, week in, week
And
out. It's the same thing, man.
who's your third player?
Who your third player is, man, Darren?
And the third, the third to last bad player at the match. Everybody is so bad. I can't really pick a third person per se. You know?
Just pick one now. Pick one. Call a name.
Pick one now, man. Man, if you want to say Bruno, you know.
You want to say Bruno? Don't put that on him.
Nah, not Bruno. Varane.
Jesus saying he missed the crap today, boy. You didn't miss a damn thing, boy.
You did yourself a favor.
Jesus? You missed indigestion, depression, frustration. You miss a lot of shuns.
Agitation.
Trust me.
You missed the right woman.
I now remember Varane. If Danny
Yeah,
Welbeck
that Harry Maguire impression Varane give us today.
yeah, if Danny Welbeck wasn't so much trash, he would have got a goal today because of Varane. He blatantly controlled the ball for Welbeck to get a shot. Literally. And he just clueless throughout the game. Clueless. One or two spurts of looking decent or something resembling decent. You can't even say decent. Just I don't know why. I don't know. This is no heart. No heart. These players are no heart. I mean, I know it's not a big deal, but at least try to qualify for Europe and by that might be only saving grace to win something every season. You want to end trophyless.
Look like they don't even want to qualify for the conference
league, yeah.
conference cup or
Europa
whatever.
conference, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And right now we had a hope. Sorry, Chad. Right now we had a hope that West Ham lose or draw the next game because the goal difference better than us, and if they win the next two, they're going above us. Because I think our goal difference is the minus now, -1. Imagine that United in the minus with goal difference. Come on, man. Nah, boy. Something needs to be done. And I know for a fact it's the management because the dressing room in a mess and the structure of the club not in the right place. The players not in the right place mentally.
Good afternoon to Chad and Mark Lewis. Mark Lewis is saying that we'll qualify for Etihad League.
Come down from there, boy.
For those people who watch us overseas, Etihad League is not even a top domestic league in Trinidad and Tobago.
It's not even a European league.
Semi-pro league. That's like Sunday. That's like Sunday football.
Yes, that's like Sunday league in England.
Yep.
You know?
A non-league.
All right. Let me just read Valentino's comment and then we go into you. Greg B. I'm so glad we're cleaning up house because with that bunch we will need more than 10 Hag for a revival. More like 10,000 Hag. For real. So let me hear your three worst performers. The question overall, I want to throw this question out to the people in the comments, and it's a very serious one. Have you ever seen a worst United performance? I haven't seen a worst United performance ever in my life. Darren talked about when we played the Jose Mourinho's last game when we played against Liverpool.
That was true.
Being up there, that was bad. But have you all in the comments, seen a worst United performance ever? Talk to me, Greg B. Who are your top 3 bad performers?
Yeah, well, McTominay takes the cake first and foremost because, my God, it's like, dude, try and find some sort of control with the way that you're moving. Your tackling was off. Your passing was off. Just your awareness on the field in itself was off. And it's like, why he didn't get subbed off is beyond me. You took off Matic and brought on Fred, but you left Scott McTominay on, who was already 1 card away from getting sent off anyway. So, and it was clear to see that in spite of his trying to be physical, it wasn't working. You needed to change the strategy, and Scott McTominay would have been the first person to haul off the pitch from me. So he's the top worst performer there for me. I think it's kind of following a similar vein with Darren because Tellez was bad. I mean, bad is just putting it mildly. As like so many times he got caught out. It's become a recurring theme with Alex Tellez. I'm at a loss for words when it comes to how this man is a left back.
Left off. He just he'll be left off the squad.
Yeah, it's like best we did bring my Basaka to play left back like he did against Liverpool because it's like Jed, what are you doing? And for me, third worst. Yeah, I mean, Varane definitely has to be because it's like it was absolutely
same three.
Yeah, it was absolutely underwhelming. This man is a World Cup winner. This man's won the Champions League 4 times. And you look like you're now making your debut. I would expect those kind of mistakes from the likes of like Ted and Mengi and them kind of fellas, but
nah, that fellas didn't do it.
But that's my whole thing. If hypothetically speaking, Darren, hypothetically speaking, if Ted Mengi was on the field and those mistakes happened, I wouldn't be as upset. But
you have a lot of
honestly,
a lot of support in the comments. Chad is saying calling out the same players, Dalot, McTominay, Tellez.
You know, like I said,
Well,
Dalot wasn't the worst. Dalot wasn't the worst of them, but he was still bad. He was still bad.
Dalot at least was fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fighting.
If you had to pick the best performer out of a bad bunch, it had to be Dalot.
Yeah, for me, would have been Mata. Mata tried.
Good afternoon to Brian in the comments as well.
So
Phil, who's your 3?
Watch him say Bruno. You're muted, Phil.
You're muted, Phil. We don't hear you.
Probably the best we've ever heard him all day.
You know?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, so Greg B already said Bruno in his 3, so I gotta find somebody.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, Phil.
David De Gea. They concede 4. You gotta be one of the worst on the field, which means that you weren't that vocal, which means you weren't providing some sort of leadership or guidance for the guys in front of you, right? He's mine. Scott McTominay, Calcedo, Basuma, and whoever else was in midfield played circles around you today. You're just wild, but you're not channeling that wildness to something smart, right? You're just being wild and grabbing onto players and trying to hit a person's foot instead of hit the ball. It's just wild, right? Like, don't get me wrong. There've been players over the years that I've seen are wild, like Gattuso, De Rossi, and other defenders. Who?
Rudiger.
Yeah, those players are wild, but they're smart and they're winning the ball physically, right? Scott just looks to.
No, the wildest for me was Materazzi.
Yeah. Scott was playing like he was from WWE today, honestly.
Stone Cold Scott McTominay.
Yeah. I called 2 so far, so that's David De Gea, that's Scott. And obviously the third is Tellez, right? I'm kind of sick and tired of Tellez because Tellez is kind of predictable. Whenever somebody passes the ball to Tellez, he always looks up to cross. I don't know why. I watched Andy Robertson today at Liverpool. Andy Robertson hardly crossed the ball. He's looking to play in players on the ground. He's looking to find other players in the middle of the field. No.
Press forward.
Whenever Tellez gets the ball, he always looks to find either Edison Cavani or Ronaldo. Right? So Tellez is my third player.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Nothing wrong with crossing the ball, no. And it's not that Robertson.
It's becoming so predictable now, President Chad. It's almost like we're on a counter attack. The ball gets sprayed up to the left side.
He's very one-dimensional.
Because what I'm saying is that is your decision making. Robin, there are always people running into the box. But if Robinson don't see what he considers a high quality cross that is going to reap, he's not just going to kick the ball in the box. He's going to do something else. Whereas Tellez never does anything else. He never runs down the wing. He never cuts. He never does anything else. He does the same thing over and over and over again.
And
You know,
One
think for a
dimensional.
defender, for somebody
One
who's
dimensional.
for somebody who's supposed to be a defender, he loses the ball too easily. He loses. He's not confident on the ball. He doesn't look good on the ball. And when he get a body to body, he always come in second. Makes no sense. You are a defender for
And
crying out loud.
let me
as
let
a
me give
former,
my three,
yeah.
and then we'll end it off. First, I my three might be a little, two of the names mentioned already, so I'll do those first. Um, Scott McTominay had, I think, the worst game I've ever seen him play. Scott McTominay was playing judo today. There was no tackle that Scott McTominay went into that he didn't use. His hands was not up. None. Every single tackle, he put his hands out on the guy. I don't know if it was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that he was envisioning. He wasn't playing football today. So, Scott, especially when he has been one of our better performers when he played, in terms of heart, in terms of really laying it all out on the field, you can tell he's not making effort, right? Because instead of going with your fit, instead of using your brain to think about how best to approach getting this ball you just put out your hand and foul the man. That's laziness. That is checking out. When a player checks out, that's what they do. Or when players tired, that's what they do. That's what you see. You see the hands come up and you see those lazy man plays. So, and obviously he not tired, right? So Scott for me, Rafael Varane. I don't know why people keep feeling they need to give Harry Maguire a shout out on the bench. People seem to feel they need to do Harry Maguire impressions when Harry Maguire doesn't start. So it's like, hey, Harry not here. Somebody have to do something Harry like. You understand? And Rafael Varane chose to be that person today. I cannot understand that. So the same kind of stuff I would have said if Harry Maguire played, I had to say it for Rafael Varane. He can't get a pass when you act like Harry Maguire. You understand what I'm saying? So he is the second one. And the third one is Cristiano Ronaldo. And the reason for Cristiano Ronaldo for me is
His
because
opinion, Phil, not yours.
he has been our standard bearer. When everybody else is performing poorly, he has been the one performing well. I'm not even talking about the missed shots. He didn't put anything on target today. I'm not even talking about that. The man couldn't even make a 5-yard pass. Every pass Ronaldo gave was off. He didn't give one straight pass whole game. If the player did get it, the player had to run back to get it or do something. So when your best performer is having a bad day, I wouldn't say it trickles down because it probably trickled up. These guys probably rub off on him. So I'm not going to say that Cristiano Ronaldo was the reason the rest of the team was bad, but I'm just saying that when your best performer reaches the point where he and all starts to perform bad, we used to use the term 2 months ago about the toxicity in the dressing room. Watch me, I really and truly, I don't think the season can end fast enough. I don't think the season can end. Watch me, the ball boys in Manchester United must be fed up and war break. And they ain't had no more home games. They're just waiting for the season to finish.
Somewhere in Trinidad, Robert Wallace is having a chest pain hearing you slander Cristiano Ronaldo like that.
Wow. No, I'm not slandering him, no. I'm not slandering him at all. We all saw the game by Cristiano Ronaldo standards. If you were to ask him, I'm sure he would say he had a very bad game.
No. To add to what Chad's saying, there's something that Cristiano does that frustrates me. He's great. I love him. I think I'm one of those persons who, true and true, I stand with CR. But CR does a thing where he wants to get involved in the game and he isn't getting service. So he drops deeper and gets a touch on the ball. My thing is this. Every single time he gets the ball, instead of lifting his head and seeing if he could press forward the ball, he just immediately pass it back to the person and give it to him. That's terrible. At least twice today, when he did that drop deep, collect the ball, Mata made an overlap and run. Now, had he lift his head and press with the ball, he could have passed the ball to Mata so he could get in position and run in his space. He just immediate every single time. It is beyond me why he does that every single. I
Well,
understand you want to get
I
back in the
have come
position.
I have come to the conclusion because Cristiano Ronaldo knows his limitations where pace is concerned. At this stage of his career, he never looks for the forward pass. If somebody gives him the ball and makes you run, he never looks for that pass. He looks for the other pass so that he could run to be on the end of the forward pass. He never looks for the forward run, which is one of the reasons why, he would never give you that hurricane pass,
But
right? Forward pass.
that is puts us at a disadvantage because when he collects the ball and a player makes an overlapping run, all he has to do is play to that player. And as I
True.
say, he probably don't have the pace anymore.
It is a disadvantage and is a little bit selfish, but at this point, Cristiano Ronaldo is the only bright light in a very dark season. So we ain't gonna say nothing else bad about Cristiano.
And that light
for the
is
rest of the
somewhat
program.
tainted.
So the last question that I want to throw out to the panel before we shut it down is simply this. Give me your list. Who would you like to not see? Who would you like never to see at the end of the season, after the last game, right, in a United jersey again? I am going to start off because I'm now throwing it out to you all. So while I'm going through mine, you all could think about it. For those people, nobody brought it up in the comments, but I know there were a lot of people online complaining about the youth not getting a chance in the today's game. We have to remember the FA Cup Youth Final is on Wednesday. So we should not have expected to see the likes of Garnacho or Shattery or any of those guys. Those guys are playing a game on Wednesday. And I didn't expect Ralph to send those guys out to probably possibly get injured or any. That FA Youth Cup is very important to us. It's very important to Manchester United. So we have to understand that is why we didn't see any youth today. If any of you guys want some ice cream, put in your orders now. Let you truck pass.
I haven't heard
So
that in ages.
let me go through. Now, we're not really comparing notes. I'm
Okay,
just
so-
gonna call out.
Chad, quick question before you start.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to how many players you want to send?
No.
Okay,
No
just,
limit.
Just checking.
If you just want to make it short and say get rid of all 26, you could do that. But I just gonna run through quickly and everybody just give theirs because we're gonna have a lot of time to
Right.
discuss that. Throughout the next days and weeks to come. But I think we can't end the program without talking about something forward-looking. And the forward-looking thing for me is who's not going to be here. That's what we're going to deal with this program, right? So let me start off. This is in no particular order, right? I would like not to see Harry Maguire here next season. I would like not to see Wan-Bissaka here next season. I'm hearing rumblings that Bailly wants to leave. We know at one point he wanted to leave before, and he decided to stay and sign a new contract. Anybody who just has an inkling of wanting to leave, I want you to leave too. Even if I like you, I want you to leave too. Because we cannot have anybody here who is not prepared to go full 100 next season, who is just here trying to see, bust the tape. I ain't going to talk about Lingard and Pogba because their contract are up, they're out it.
Pretty much
So we ain't
going
going to talk about those guys. Or Matic, right? I ain't mentioning them because they're out the door. Who else would I don't want to see here next season?
It's very
Henderson.
hard.
Henderson, and I would just say why. I like Henderson, but it is ridiculous that we have two starting goalkeepers at Manchester United. We have one goalkeeper that is the highest paid goalkeeper in the world and in the Premier League, and the second one that I think is fourth or fifth highest paid goalkeeper in the league. Why we have two goalkeepers in the top 5 paid in the league? That makes no sense. Sell one. And right now, we ain't selling David De Gea. Because as much as he has his challenges, and he does have challenges in terms of progressing the ball, in terms of commanding his box. The bottom line is we have so many areas to fix. David is probably going to be here next season. So sell Henderson.
I think
Because
Henderson should
it just
stay.
don't make sense. What we keeping Henderson to do? What we doing? I don't want no low just selling. Right now we just selling. Yeah, that would be those would be the top of my list. On the in between, meaning that if they just look at me the wrong way, you know, I mean, if I was 10, I'm gonna walk in the stadium and I just find I don't like the body language I would sell them to, would be Rashford. I mean, anybody told me I would say something like that a month ago, 2 months ago, I would laugh at them. Rashford leaving Manchester United. That was almost an insult.
That's
But
sacrilege.
at this stage right now, if Rashford sneeze while I saying something, I tell him one time. He have no room. No room. You understand what I'm saying? No room for error. That's how close Rashford is to being on my sell list. Who else is close on that sell list?
Yes,
I
I
would
ain't
have
hear
to
you mention Martial.
I would have. He's still here, right? Martial. He on the sell list for sure. He on the sell list for sure. He not on the close. He on the sell list for sure. I will have to say Scott and Fred. As much as these guys have helped us out many times, I think when you're going forward, sometimes you just if you're revamping. And if them fellas just sneeze wrong, bust the throat too. You know, that's it. So yeah, that's my list.
You know, as you say sneeze wrong, are you looking at sneeze there just now?
And Tellez, bring back Brendan Williams. I've been watching Brendan Williams with Norwich. He is not going to be worse than Tellez. He is not.
I didn't want to send him on loan in the first place.
Right? So Tellez. And that's my list of people that I don't want to see in a United shirt next season. Who wants to go next?
Well, I see no one going, so I'll go. So we start in the goalkeeper department. Lee Grant, get rid of him. Lee
He's
Grant,
still a player.
Lee Grant,
I'm not
is
going
a,
to say
Lee
Grant.
Grant is a snitch. He has been it has been reported he is leaking information, and we can't afford for things to be going bad. And you know what dirty laundry out. No, get out. You don't even. Have you ever even started? You know what purpose does he really serve at the club? Get out, right? Unfortunately, as much as I like him, he's just there and he always injured. Bye. Make it. Go up the road. You want to leave anyway? Go ahead. Phil Jones is a faithful servant, but there comes a time where we are the pathways. Make a turn. Make a turn. If we're looking to turn a corner, we can't move forward when we have people like yourself that's there collecting money, when we could actually have a fresh young player with vigor and willing to stamp his name in history and be part of a new era. We can't have 40 people on them kind of salaries doing nothing for the club. Maguire, you're not even supposed to be a captain. Yeah, why you was the captain when you come in the first place is beyond me, but it happened. You could leave. No, mind you, I had a conversation with someone last night, and he's saying that Maguire is elite. Maguire is elite, and we are just playing him wrong and yada yada yada. But I think make a turn. Dalo. I mean, promising, promising is when you're seeing something and just a few more steps to go. But we do have that time. We do have that time to wait to see if we would get it. Dalo could leave. Most definitely Tellez. I do not want Tellez back at United. Don't. Now, I know I said Dalo, and it made some contribution to call this next player because then we would have nobody in the position. But we could always get somebody. One Masaka, most definitely. most definitely. He has proven time and time again that while he looks good defensively at times, the reason why he has to do certain things that makes us be like, wow, is because he created a problem in the first place. So he's actually trying to fix the problem that he created. So he ain't doing nothing extraordinary.
Poor position and making you have to slide tackle.
Correct. So you create a
Speed,
problem and what
speed
kudos
up the
when it
list a little bit for me there, Darren. We don't want to cross the hour mark today.
okay, yeah, no problem. Well, Pereira on loan, so he could stay there. Don't come back. Mata,
Okay.
as much as you're probably one of the better number 10s that we have, you're our old man. So make a turn.
He's
Lingard.
leaving anyway.
Well, yeah. Lingard, you could follow Mata on the way out. You and your brother will have all the conversations on his side. Um, Matic is the only holding midfielder we have, but you say leaving and it was nice. Scott following on the way out too. Maybe you can play for Newcastle or Stoke. Them teams that fight for physicality and that's their brand. You could probably go and play for them. Martial, it is proven that we wasn't being hard on here. Even the Sevilla fans don't want you there. And it's for the same reason why we don't want you at our club. So you could make a turn too. I never thought I might have said this, but Rashford, I don't want to sell you, but if according to Chad, if you move a little too left, yeah, you could get sell too. Because for somebody who we place so much pride and so much effort into, if we're not seeing that effort from you, boy. Just not seeing it. So yeah, and that is my list there. I just went through the whole team there. That's my list. And we need to promote a lot of young players from the academy. We don't need to fight up in the market because we have a lot of players that can prove themselves, like James Garner and Ganacho and Savage and them. That yeah, yeah, guys, go on.
I
Phil,
guess.
read this comment and then give us yours.
I know it would be hard to say, and as much as Alanga tried, I think we missed Greenwood this season as an attacking option. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
There's,
kind of
yeah,
obvious.
yeah. There's truth to that.
But you know what? Life happens, right? And Greenwood is being punished for something he did in his personal life, right? So you gotta use who is at your disposal. So who would I not want to see at United next season? Obviously not sure why Lee Grant is still here, so he's one. Um, Alex Tellez and Luke Shaw can definitely go for sure. Wan-Bissaka can go. Um, I'm not going to go back on my word because I did say I would wipe the slate clean for Harry Maguire if Eric Ten Hag comes in. So Harry Maguire is still here. Um, as much as I don't want everybody to go, he must go if he wants to have playing time, right? So everybody will go as well. Phil Jones as well. Um, on to the midfield. Scott will be a good squad player, so that's why I think I will keep a hold of Scott. So will Fred. Um, there isn't anybody else I would get rid of per se, because either everybody else that is in the midfield or in the strike force is on their way out, or they're out of contract, right? Tony Martial probably is the only other person I would get rid of because it's I think he's past his due date, right? Martial definitely can move on, and I wish him all the best. Right? If he's still in Eric Ten Hag's plans, I would be so surprised. I'll be very very surprised. So, but yeah, that's about it per se. In terms of wanting a player to leave, not seeing it in an Ed Sheeran present Chad. What about if they go on loan per se?
Yeah, I mean, there are some players you might want to sell them, you might want to hold on to them. So
Because
who do you have
I would
players you want to send on loan right now?
I was
Regular?
I would, I would send Elanga on loan. Other than Elanga,
You would send Elanga where in the Premier League or in Europe?
Premier League for sure. Yeah.
So like a team coming up where you know he'll get plenty playing time.
Not a team in the top, not a team in the top six, but a team where he can definitely get plenty playing time up top or on the left or right. So, who knows? Let's say we do go for Richarlison from Everton, right? Um, we could include in the contract that I trust me. I don't want Richarlison either, Darren. Trust me, I don't want it. But I'm just going by what the rumors say, right? Let's say we do go for Richarlison from Everton, right? We give Everton what 30, 40 mil and put Elanga on like a 2-year loan or something like that, right? I wouldn't mind that. So, but that's just hypothetically speaking. I don't want Richarlison. He has the ego of Cristiano Ronaldo, but he plays like I don't know. So
Ego Cristiano Ronaldo finishing of Roberto Firmino.
I feel your failure. You don't want to sell Ilanga, but you don't think he's good enough to stay right now. that's pretty much what you're saying. I don't want to sell him, but I don't think I need him in the team right now. I feel you. I feel you. And if we get the likes of Anthony and these people that we rumored to be interested in, he mightn't get that much playing time, so maybe a loan might do him good as well. Greg B, you ending us off today. Let's hear your list of departures.
Bruno.
If you were the Undertaker and you could bust men throat, who would you?
Well, Pogba already has his tombstone set, so.
Well, yeah, I was to say Pogba as well. Yeah, sorry. I get to say Pogba.
So basically, excluding the people whose contracts are pretty much already up, which are the likes of Cavani, Pogba, Lingard, Matic, Mata. Yeah, so we basically exclude those because those are already non-factors. I agree with the Lee Grant because it's like, dude, you just stealing a living right now. You ain't making any kind of sense.
No, I mean just switch your roles. I hear Lee Grant has been very instrumental in the coaching setup.
We'll stay on that coaching staff. Don't register yourself as a player. What you doing?
Stop making excuses, President Chad. Go.
We're too sentimental at United, you know. That's why we are
biggest problems. That's why we have players on the injury table for 10 years plus.
Yeah, too sentimental.
So basically he can go. Like I said, this next decision is going to be very controversial with a lot of people, but I'm selling David De Gea. Seeing as we're keeping in the theme of being too sentimental, there are too many people that are holding on to David De Gea, but the game has changed, and the way David De Gea plays does not suit us anymore if we're going to evolve. This is not me trying to say Dean Henderson over David De Gea, but we need someone that can be a ball-playing goalkeeper as well, too.
Correct. I agree. I think we need to sell one. My preference would be David De Gea as well.
Dean Henderson is a ball-playing goalkeeper. He is better at that.
And to add to that, I mean, his when he was getting a regular starting goal, we were keeping a lot more clean sheets. So that's why I probably would kind of give him a little bit of a leeway. Going forward again, left backs, I had so much high hopes for Alex Telles when he came. So it's hard for me to say this, but I have to say it. He needs to go because he's become too much of a one-dimensional figure. Everybody can just figure out what he's going to do. It's like, he's got a cross. No. It's time for you to move on. Bailly and Jones, y'all can go. Like Phil, I'm going to kind of go easy on Harry Maguire a little bit, but he's on a thin line. He's on a very thin line. In that regard, Wan-Bissaka leaves. I'll hold on to Dalot until we probably get another right back to probably fill his place. Midfield, no.
Timber.
Well, that's if we can game. Midfield, I'm sorry. Scott, I don't think you're cut out to be in this team anymore. I think as much as I might consider you a squad player, I have so many other players that could probably do exactly what you're doing and give us a little bit more.
This man tell you want to sit down, Greg. We don't take that.
Yeah, Brian basically worships the ground Lionel Messi walks on, and he just believes that David De Gea is the best thing to ever happen to Manchester United. Boy, please. So going.
He was moving for on. A long time. He's not anymore.
What about? All right, so I heard Greg. We mentioned Scott. What about if Scott is a squad player then?
Maybe, but I just feel like if we're bringing in some other players, it diminishes the time that he can really get as a squad player too. So
True.
I don't know. Set him Newcastle, set him Leeds if you want.
His
have a
skill
good.
set is limited. His skill set is extremely limited. So we're gonna
Yeah.
do it, Scott.
So it has his game will suit a certain style of team.
Correct.
And
Yes.
this and this might sound harsh, but his best he might shine in a team like Burnley
Correct. Big and strong and
because
bullying.
that's their game.
That's
their
the game. Yeah. Or Stoke.
Yeah, Fred I will keep because he's one of those players that gives you that work rate still. Yeah, and he can still be creative going forward, and I think that is someone who will suit a Ten Hag system. So I'll hang on to Fred.
You see Fred fanning the ball and thing to the earth.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Sancho and Ilanga get buys from me. Let's see. Well, Sancho wasn't even a factor, so yeah, he's safe. Rashford is on a thin line. Rashford is on a very thin line right now.
We don't want to sell him at the gosh.
Yeah, but you're dragging the flag. You're dragging the flag. Let's see. Martial is done. Anthony Martial, in my book, is done at Manchester United. I am sorry. We cannot keep pampering this man for. He's been here since 2015. It's 7 years, and you still can't catch yourself. Stop going around people yell child and trying to horn everybody left, right, and center and go and play some football now, man.
One was like a teacher now.
Oh, good lord. Let's see. Why is Carlton needs to stop? He's saying Fred too slow for the EPL. Carlton, go and change those glasses, sir. What games have you been watching? Fred is a lot of things, but slow ain't one of them.
Yes, Greg. Focus.
Yes, sorry, my bad. Well, Cavani's gone. I'm going to share the sentiments of someone who said this earlier. Hold on to Mason Greenwood until his case passes, then sell it.
What?
That's my only thing, because it's like I don't think he might recover from this. This is too much of a damaging thing in this situation and may not necessarily work out.
Greenwood is 19 years old.
Okay, and I've seen
hire some hypnotists and put him on a couch and do some mind games. We talking about sell Mason Greenwood? No. The only way we selling Mason Greenwood is if he can't get back into the team, and I don't mean skill-wise.
Well, this is just my opinion, but I wouldn't mind keeping him otherwise, but I don't know. I just worried about this whole situation.
It's your list.
Yeah. I just watching the PR situation and how much it can spell bad and it may not necessarily work out well for us, because a lot of people are very sensitive about these matters and everything. So that's the look I'm looking at it. But from a footballing perspective, from a pure footballing perspective, I would keep him.
Yeah, he good on FIFA.
And Carlton needs to stop. He talked about Fred making too many useless passes. Has he seen what Wan-Bissaka's been doing? Come on.
No, Fred is the most improved player. Fred is the most improved player as well.
Under Ralph.
Fred is a monster.
Believe it or not.
Anyway. Moving along. That's my list.
What about Taib Chong? Taib Chong needs to go as well too.
Yeah, Tyce Jong could go.
I forgot him.
And as touching on the Andreas Pereira thing, I'm hearing Ten Hag wants to find some use to him if the Flamengo deal falls through.
Yeah, that too.
Other than that, it makes sense to move him on. Honestly.
Guys, we're gonna shut it down. Guys, as United supporters, we had to keep the flag flying, and we had to try to be positive. Normally, I would end the program with our Ten Hag outro, and I would say Ten Hag is here. But today just doesn't feel like that kind of day. So we're going to end the program the way that we started.
Moment of silence.
Red Devils, don't die, we multiply. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks.